They were playing for a national championship. They fell to Hawaii that time, but looking for a better start today. Ohio State brings back some inexperience, a very talented roster that has a lot of hope with it, but will that be Henwood Rodriguez? Mentioned him. He played for the U19 Puerto Rican national team, is in the lineup. Shane Wetzel, Stanislav Trzcinski, a freshman from Poland. They're very high on him too. Daniel Hurley, Thomas Leahy will be the first 6 on the floor for Ohio State. And beginning the serving rotation, first serve of the year will be Henwood Rodriguez. There's a good strike from the outside. Shane Wetzel, that's who they turned to looking for leadership when Jacob Pastor graduated.
And you can see that right away from Daniel Henwood Rodriguez. He surveys the other side of the floor for BYU and decides to give it over to the big left arm of Shane Wetzel right there, and just a great start for Ohio State.
We asked Kevin Burke who he trusted serving, and he trusted the freshman right here, Henwood Rodriguez. That time a little long, trying to hit that outside zone. Bring up the Cougars lineup. Noah Hain will be the setter. Great legacy family out in Hawaii. Lucas Torres, Ethan Gant inside. Keone Tim will be serving. Tion Taylor in the middle, and Mix Raminis will be on the floor too. First net violation on the Buckeyes. Point for BYU. And you said this in the opening, Dylan. That serve by Keone Tim, it caught our attention, and that first one was a bullet, and here comes another one.
Yeah, well, watch him. He tosses the ball so high in the air, and then the downward action on this thing as it gets over the net.
Go back row attack. Wetzel just had to sail it over, but a little too strong, and BYU 3 unanswered. And that serve, it almost scrapes the ceiling. Those speakers are in jeopardy.
Be a little bit of early season nerves for Ohio State. Daniel Hurley stepped up right there after that point and said, hey, let's calm it down a little bit, guys.
And that's going to be the key for Ohio State. Where's that leadership going to come from on the floor? That's off the deflection. Point for Ohio State. They needed that one. Shane Wetzel's got both for the Buckeyes here in the first set.
Well, that's a good job by Ohio State right there to recapture maybe a little bit of that momentum that they were missing. And this is something that we're going to see for BYU too. Sean Olmstead, their head coach, talked about it before this match, saying, I think you're going to see our team is very physically imposing. They can be very, very good, but we're also going to be shaking out some rust early on in the season. He wasn't quite sure what to expect of his squad.
No, he wasn't. There's Henwood Rodriguez looking poised and a good swing. Did it stay in? No, just wide by Wetzel.
Yeah, you could see right there, Wetzel just pulled that one a little bit. He was trying to place it right on the line.
Here is the Las Vegas native, honorable mention all-conference a year ago, Tion Taylor. Hammer down the middle, sky high and out of play. Great strike there by a player that Ohio State wants to see a lot out of, Thomas Leahy, the grad student from State College, PA.
Transfer from St. Francis University, sat out as a redshirt last season, and now getting some action as a Buckeye. We get to see him serve here.
All right, from Penn State's backyard and onto your TV screens. There's a good strike, perfectly placed by Daniel Hurley, the redshirt sophomore from Virginia Beach.
And Daniel Hurley's a guy that Kevin Birch, the head coach for Ohio State, thinks might catch some people by surprise this season. He's a very steady and reliable player for Ohio State, but he's going to flash.
Yeah, swings like he just had. He's going to catch they're going to notice, and there's another net violation on Ohio State, and that was the big fella, Cole Young. Here's Lucas Torres, one of the Brazilians on the team. He's a transfer, Vancouver Island University is where he began his collegiate journey here in the States. A junior. One-point lead for BYU. And an ace, first of the day. Took on the redshirt junior Grant Strong, the libero, and that just died right in front of him.
Tremendous serve right there from Lucas Torres. And that was another thing that, Sean Olmsted wasn't quite sure about, how good his team would be serving the ball this year. But so far, so good between Torres and Thim.
Young didn't get everything on that one. Here's Thim. And it will go to Ohio State. Carried a little bit for the Hawaiian. And now here's Wetzel, who is the leader of the team. That's who everyone's turned to since Pasteur moved on. And an ace for the Buckeyes. Took on Ramenis, the senior from Walnut Creek, California, and got the better of him. All tied up at 6. And Ramenis drives that one off Ohio State. It looked like, Dylan, that's exactly who Wetzel was targeting, and then Ramenis got his revenge.
Well, that's great work by BYU there, because you don't want to let Wetzel get hot when he's serving. He is a tremendous server. You can just see how heavy that serve is, too.
Here's Ramenis. The serve was long. We'll save the fun, sentimental story of him returning here to Covelli Center for next time. That brings up Daniel Hurley. Here's the guy we just mentioned. Big physical presence, but he's added an all-around game, and he had a surprisingly great strike, and Ohio State's expecting a lot of them. There's Thim. What a great strike on the outside, and that's what we were talking about. He just floats.
Yeah, you see what we mean now? He hangs up there for a couple of seconds. It's very, very impressive. Again, a guy that's listed at 6 foot, but might even be a little bit shorter than that. Tremendous athlete.
The meet at the net, stepping under it, Hurley. Good block there from Brigham Young, though too good. It carried out of bounds. 8-8 our score. Now here's Cole Young, one of the 2 Buckeyes that make the preseason all-conference team. Look out for the back row, and standing tall, Stanislaw Chasinski, the freshman from Warsaw.
Chaczynski is a guy that I'm really, really excited to watch this evening. He's a freshman, 6'7". He's got obviously great size, but his head coach, Kevin Birch, talked about him glowingly. He said he's really tough, very intelligent, and really good under pressure as well. So obviously this is a high-pressure situation, your first collegiate game, so great to see him involved early on.
I say he comes from a very volleyball affluent area, just in Warsaw. Great volleyball community, although it got hung up in the net. Henwood Rodriguez tried to dig it out. BYU with the point. And you see that a lot. A lot of these players come from, no surprise, some of the top teams in the country come from tremendous volleyball communities, whether it's in Hawaii, Poland, all over. Speaking of which, here's Noah Hain with an ace. Targeted Dan Hurley, and it worked out for Noah. You mentioned the opening. BYU questions at setter. And Brigham Young has a couple of options. Tyler Hergert was great last year, but here's Noah Hain. Got the start, drove it into the net. And from one setter to the other. Got all the reps in the fall. Earned him the start today. A block down the middle. Leahy, Chachinsky, both stand tall.
Leahy and Chachinsky are very formidable right there. You've got Leahy at 6'9" and Chachinsky at 6'7". BYU has had some trouble with them early.
One thing on paper, Ohio State does have the advantage heights in general. Just front line, they've got rows of players that are over 6'7". That one goes into the net, tied at 11. And back to the electric, Keone Thim. Into the net it goes. Service errors being a bit of an issue here for BYU. That's their third.
I think that's to be expected early on in the season, right? Again, there's maybe those nerves. The transfers are playing for the first time for their schools, the freshmen in their first appearances as well.
And knocking off the rust, right? That's what Sean Olmstead said. Speaking of which.
That's a guy that I'm really, really excited to watch serve in this game is Stanislaw Chachinsky. His head coach, Kevin Birch, said that he can really bring the heat with the serve.
Just under-hit that one slightly. There's a big windup for Wetzel and a block from Mix Romenis that carried out of bounds. So Wetzel another kill.
And I think if you're Ohio State, you really want to feed Wetzel and get him in a rhythm in this game. He's going to be so key, obviously, all season long. But if you want to get the season off on the right foot on a high note, get him involved early.
There's a nice setback by Hain all the way across the court to stay in. Yes, it did. Right in front of the bench for Ohio State by Lucas Torres. He can play 4 different instruments, they say. 2 of them are guitars. I don't know if that counts, but he played that ball like one of his electrics. Back row attack from Chachinsky. Off the deflection. We're all tied. We're not tied. Ohio State with the 1-point lead in this game is just a seesaw right now, Dylan.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you trying to tell me, by the way, that they count electric and acoustic guitar as
They
two
said he
separate
played
instruments?
4 instruments, and 2 of them were 2 types of guitar. I think that's fudging it.
Yeah.
That's no fudge there. Strong block by Hurley. But, you know, sometimes you stretch truth a little bit. A lot of it with the height. We saw that with Keone Thim. 6, maybe.
Ohio State's really good at the net. That's a nice sign for the Buckeyes early on here.
I felt confident there with the middle blockers. Leaks over. There's Romanis. Nicely dug out by the Polish freshman. Back set. And not enough on it by Mix Romenis. Second team all-conference a year ago. Timeout on the floor. Ohio State leads 16-13. First little whiff of separation between these two teams. And I'll tell you what, Dylan, when you look at the history of this matchup, there is not just a whiff, there is an ocean of separation in the history between these two. Really good.
Oh, man, has it ever. I think that size difference right now is definitely apparent. You know, I know Keone Thim can get up there, but Ohio State right now is just, they're towering at that net, and I think that's to me been the key difference in this game. Looks like you've got a miscommunication right there.
I took the word right out of my mouth. Those are 2 of the better players for BYU, Mix Romenis and Keone Thim. Thim contacted the ball first, but then he had a hard time, Jackson 5, trying to work around him. It was a bit of a difficult, and back to serve is Wetzel off the ace. Knocked them back. Romenis. Hammer down the middle, Cole Young. He got all of that one.
You can just see it when Shane Wetzel goes to serve. There's just something about that serve, the heaviness of it, the spin on that ball, that returning it is very, very difficult.
And that's not anyone who's struggling with it, too. That's Keani Thim, who's one of the better players for BYU expected. That's Remenis. It's a free one for Ohio State. Look out, back row. Chachinski couldn't keep it in.
You can see what Chachinski is going to mean to this Ohio State team. He's very, very involved in this one. He already has a pair of kills, and he's getting a lot of time early. Kevin Birch is trusting the young guys.
See, some of the new faces for both these teams getting not just on the floor, but they're trusting him. And an ace that snuck in for Remenis. A year ago, Mix Remenis, second most aces for BYU. He had 24 of them. That one, not one of them. 5 aces between the two teams so far today. BYU, they've shared it around, one apiece. Ohio State all been bunched with Wetzel. And here's Hurley. Nicely dug out there by Remenis. And here's Thim. Challenge at the net. Cole Young, can they scramble? Torres. Overpass to Ohio State. Nice set. And Chachinski capitalizes.
I like what Ohio State's doing, utilizing the middle blockers offensively. I think that utilizing those middle blockers and a guy like Cole Young sets up what just happened right there for Chachinski. You're thinking, okay, here comes Cole Young again using that height. But then the set right over to Chachinski, and he's able to make the kill.
Holy mackerel, he got all that one. Yeah, he crushed it. I also thought on that last play, Daniel Henwood Rodriguez, that his body control at the net, that's what Ohio State saw in that freshman. Just complete control in the air, able to set up everyone.
Well, you just got to think about when this guy gets a little bit more confident, a little bit more experience under his belt after a few collegiate matches, he's going to continue to improve tremendously. He already looks good, but just imagine what he could become.
Here's a new server for BYU. It's Talon Tafunga, and he got froze up. So out goes Tafunga.
That was nasty by Chachinski right there. Back across the grain. Perfect placement.
It looks like Chachinski, correct me if I'm wrong, looks like he's playing a full rotation, too. I don't know if he's coming out. New server, sophomore from Ottawa, Canada, Ontario, not Ohio, Owen Pickering. Now, he's got a lot of Ohio E names in that title. Close to Pickerington, not Ottawa, Canada. Just dribbles over. And the stuff again, Chachinski, count them off, 3 of them. Timeout, Brigham Young.
Man, nobody is feeling it more right now than Stanislaw Chachinski. How about this for your first collegiate action? He's fired up. He's confident. You just said it. I'm kind of with you. You're thinking, all right, this guy's a freshman. Let's see what he has. But he is unfazed. He is absolutely unfazed. And I think it goes back to all that high-level volleyball he played growing up in Poland.
There you go. Whether he's in Poland, Canada, or here in Ohio, up for the challenge. That one dug out by the other setter, Cole Kutch, that carried out of bounds.
Yeah, so now we get a look at Cole Kutch for the first time. And he's another guy that I'm very interested in watching. Cole Kutch transfers from Lincoln Memorial. He was an honorable mention All-America, and now he's going to check on out of the game. But keep your eyes on number 22 for Ohio State. He's their newest player and a guy they're really excited about.
Noah Hain. Noah Hain from volleyball royalty in Hawaii. His dad, Tom Hain, nicknamed Big Daddy, has a volleyball tournament that Olympians come back for, pros come back for on the big island of Oahu. And that one sneaks in.
And on top of that, like everybody in his family played volleyball. Siblings, mom, dad, grandfather. He also went to Punahou High School in Hawaii, which I feel like if you're a famous person, a great athlete in Hawaii, that's where you went. Do you know who their probably most famous alum is?
Was it a certain 44th president of the United States?
Yeah, I think so. Barack Obama went to that high school.
And here is the other most illustrious graduate. I don't know if Thim even touched it.
Yeah, Ohio State definitely seemed off kilter right there. But Thim, he benefits. Now we're going to see him serve again.
He does, and Brigham Young needs him to get on a roll. Ooh. Holy mackerel. I think Kevin Birch, that point goes to Ohio State. I think his life might have flashed before his eyes.
That was close over there, that's for sure.
Set point for the Buckeyes. Chachinski. It'll still be set point for the Buckeyes. And all Tion Taylor needs to do is get 5 points in a row.
It can be done.
I've seen it happen this year, or well, it's in the fall in the women's season. Oh, it's going to be tougher now. Haynes drifts under it. Remenis, too strong. Set one, Ohio State. That front three for the Buckeyes, just too much for Brigham Young in set number one.
Yeah, I really, really liked what Ohio State was able to do at the net. So a great opportunity to find his game early on here.
And one of two matches this weekend for these two teams. They'll play again tomorrow at 7 p.m. And Thim, a national champion with the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii, and now native of Honolulu, spent some time in high school in Provo, though. More on that in a little bit. About ready to strike. Set two underway. The touch shot from Chachinski. He brings the fury. He gets the blocks, and then he's got a little kiss.
Yeah, he's got every tool in his bag. He's showing it off right now. Chachinski is feeling it.
I think we've seen driver, we've seen iron, and now we saw the putter. Here's Henwood Rodriguez, who had a strong first set, too. Oh, the hammer just in. Shane Wetzel, fourth kill of the day. And Shane Wetzel having a strong impact. Them just hovering in the air. I don't know how he does it. I think he's got wings.
It's very special to watch.
That ball's behind him. He still got it over. There's Luke Benson. We mentioned him in the opening. He's physically strong at the net, and they've had their eye on him for a long time. They first started recruiting him when he was an 8th grader.
Yeah, now we're going to get a better look at Benson here in this second set and see everything he can do, which is a lot.
Which is about everything. Tough set there, tough strike, and Chachinski saves it. There was Benson, the scramble. Can they get it over? Look at that. Free ball for Ohio State. And a strike to capitalize.
Well, that's probably the point of the match so far. Lots of action on both sides, and then coming up big in the middle is Thomas Leahy. Leahy's been impressive so far in this one. He really has. Another new guy for this Ohio State team, and Kevin Birch not afraid to use him early and often in this one.
They're excited to have him, and you know what? I believe him. That ball seemed behind Nico Hale, still able to get a play on it and get a block. Nico Hale's the freshman from Alexandria, Virginia, but a long history at Brigham Young. Both parents are alum, and his grandpa wrestled there in the 1920s. I guess you could say his ties to Provo are pretty deep. There's Torres. Overpass to BYU. Oh, there's Benson. Welcome to the match, Luke.
Yeah, Sean Olmstead described Luke Benson as physical. He just kept saying that word, physical. He's physical. He's physical. You're going to see he can physically take over a match. And I think that's what we're seeing in this second set. He's got a pair of kills early on here, and both just thunderous.
And that one carried a little bit long. I like that point. When he described his team, physical. When he described Luke Benson, physical. He didn't use it with everyone else, though. It wasn't like he only had one word he could use to describe his players. But Benson embodies what he wants out of his team. And here is Thomas Leahy, who is every bit of that physicality for the Buckeyes. A hammer from Torres, dealt with. Overpass from Fife. Block from Benson, but it carried out of bounds. Buckeyes 2-point lead here in the second set. Them! If that ball was going down the interstate at that speed, it would be pulled over if its speed could register on the radar gun.
Yeah, we'll see if that gets them going right there, but there's that athleticism. He came out of nowhere for that one.
He puts every ounce of his body in those swings. Right in the net for Benson, the senior from Newbury Park, California. And now Wetzel, junior from Lake Mary, Florida. Described his serves, Kevin Birch did, a little bit like Greg Maddox, great at placement. Well, even Maddox missed every once in a while.
Yeah, I got to go on Baseball Reference and look up how many walks Greg Maddox had in a season, because that's I think that right there is the equivalent of a Greg Maddox walk.
I almost knew that off the top.
Not frequent.
I almost knew that off the top of my head, but I don't. Point for Ohio State. A couple service errors back to back. Walking on the court with Jackson Fife, the junior from Las Vegas, saying, "Calm down, everybody. Hang, all right, calm down, take a deep breath." Here's Daniel Hurley, the redshirt sophomore. Well, that's 3 in a row now. We'll see if Noah Hain can get it over. A block down the middle. Tion Taylor, the senior. 9th in Brigham Young history in solo blocks.
BYU going on a little run right here. You can see that confidence continuing to build.
That means Hain continues to serve. That's Grant Strong drifting under the libero. Inwood Rodriguez, the outside, and a block again. Tion Taylor, a couple of them, and BYU leads. Looks like that rust is beginning to fall off there, Dylan.
Yeah, another thing Sean Olmstead said was the Cougars were excited to leave Utah. They were excited to get on the road and be tested.
There's a great strike. Thim.
And that's because, you can feel comfortable at home, right? You know what you have in your building with your fans behind you, but you're really tested when you go on the road and you're in a hostile environment. And I think what we're seeing right now is BYU early in the season, early in their first match, is starting to believe. They're starting to see what they do have on the road. And when you're tested like this, I don't want to call it adversity necessarily, but it's a more adverse situation than when you're at home, right? And now they're in this scenario and they're succeeding.
That one was crushed by Thim. And he got lifted up by Benson. And I think to your point, BYU has gone out of their way to have a very challenging non-conference schedule. They're going to do a couple Midwestern swings. They're here right now. They're going to Ball State at the end, in the middle of the month. And the Cardinals aren't half bad. Finally an answer for Ohio State, Daniel Hurley. That stops the bleeding, but the Buckeyes are down 2, and Cole Young, one of the better servers for the Buckeyes, will stand back there, and he stands tall. He's 6'10".
Yeah, it's a big response right there for Ohio State, because just as we're talking about BYU starting to build momentum, Ohio State finds itself in a little bit of a rut right here at home, and the other team is starting to take over and dominate. So how do you respond? And it shows what you have in that regard. But I want to talk a little bit more about Keone Thim, because you can see it with this guy. He's becoming, he hasn't been here very long, but he's a heart and soul player for this team. Seems like he's a big part already.
Nicely dug out by Thim. Oh, and they were right there. Tion Taylor was right there, but the ball came off askew from Benson. So point for Ohio State, and Henwin Rodriguez back to the top of the service rotation for the Buckeyes. Taylor's been having a really good set too. Taylor, a couple blocks.
Yeah, and for a position that is a perceived weakness for BYU, that middle blocker spot, he's been very impressive.
Yeah, they need him. They don't like the offense from that spot necessarily, but the defense is impactful. In that one, Torres, he thought it was deflected, but to no avail. Cougars by 1. Benson perfectly placed. So we'll go back to Taylor. That ball so perfectly placed that it took the referees a couple beats there to signal it. There's a good strike. Hurley, we've mentioned him a few times. Hurley, they're expecting a lot out of him this year, and he's been able to keep the Buckeyes very much in this second set, only down 1.
Now we get to see Chichinski serve again.
A little flick of the wrist.
Ooh.
And a rocket. Thim! A block in the front. Thomas Leahy, one of the answers in the middle for Ohio State. We're all tied.
Yeah, Leahy has been awesome in the middle for Ohio State already in this one. Thim is so much fun to watch, though. He just explodes out of the middle of the floor.
Oh, there's an ace from Chichinski. He can do it all. You got a couple fireworks on either end of the floor in scarlet and gray. It's Chichinski, and in that BYU blue, Thim. You're going to have to live with a few of those errors every once in a while. That's 3 of them now, or 8 of them now for Ohio State. Versus 3 aces. It's the same ratio for the Cougars. And off the carom, another point for Ohio State. They leak back out into the lead. And they can attack from all angles. That front line, it was good in the first set. It's good again here, and Leahy will serve.
Well, there are just so many options in that front line for Ohio State. You think about Shane Wetzel and what he can do. You know, those middle blockers have both been involved as well, whether it's Young or Leahy. Another service error there for Ohio State. And, of course, Jaczynski has been all over the place in this one. But so many options up front for Ohio State, and that is something that Kevin Birch said was he feels the outside hitter position is the most improved on this Ohio State Buckeyes team, and we are certainly seeing it. And we haven't even seen all the depth they have.
There's a block up front, but it carried out of bounds. And I think that's something to keep in mind as we watch this match continue to unfold, is this is the first real match, regular season, one that counts. Both teams are going to be trying to work in as many players as they can to build that experience. And here's Wetzel to serve. And again, it sails. So that brings up Noah, or it does not bring up Noah Hay. New server is Nico Hales. We mentioned him. He's the one from Virginia. Third generation BYU Cougar. Them almost dunked it. Oh, pop pass by Hain, and Jaczynski a little long. That almost caught the very back edge of that line, but it's a point for BYU.
Well, speaking of dunking, Hales has it listed on his bio that he can jump 11 feet in the air. Think about that basketball hoop at 10 feet high. He's getting way up there.
He can jump too high. What a swing by Thib. A little glancing blow off Wetzel. I wonder how high he can jump. But
probably pretty high.
I wish I had, I wish I could put in my bio. Yeah, that jumps 11 feet up in the air. No big deal. Played back to Wetzel. Smash back by Taylor. And that stays out. It goes out of bounds. Man, Daniel Hurley, he's locking down that left edge. One point lead for Brigham Young. Another peek at Hurley, who will be serving. Always love that situation. You get the point, get the kill, go back to serve. Ain't no thing. And that one, a nice block. Or correction, the block went out of bounds. Misread by me. Now here's Noah Hain, who will serve. Oh, a hammer! Cole Young. You can see why he's all conference in the preseason.
Well, that's a major difference between these teams, right? You mentioned it, BYU does not really rely on the middle blocker spot for offense. I don't think you can say the same about Ohio State. We've seen the middle blockers very, very involved.
Yeah, former basketball player Young. There's a strike by Torres. One of a few Brazilians on the team for BYU. Back to them. BYU up too late, trying to take this second set, even it up. And they don't. Shane Wetzel.
I just think that's what's going to make Ohio State so dangerous this season is you just have so many guys that can kill you, and we're seeing it. Yes, literally. We're seeing it in this game, whether it's, out of the middle from Leahy or Young or out on the edges between Chichinski and Wetzel. But BYU's feisty.
Yeah, Tion Taylor continuing a really strong second set. To your point, Ohio State, Wetzel, Chichinski both have 6 kills, 5 for Dan Hurley. And Taylor up 2. And blasted back by Benson. And BYU getting a little separation here. They were the first to 20, and now they're up 3. Timeout, Ohio State.
Guy that I was interested to see just because of that great lineage, right? The volleyball family that he comes from, and you figure that he's going to be a big factor for this BYU team this season too.
Rides the net out of bounds. A point for BYU, and they're getting awfully close now. 3 points away from a second set victory. Again, Ohio State has not beaten BYU in volleyball in 8 years. That's going to help their cause, though. Stanislav Chichinski. Might be almost a rinse and repeat for Ohio State.
Yeah, Chichinski's been much quieter.
Ohio State down 3. Benson! What a swing, Luke Benson.
I think we got to say it every time he makes a swing. Just the physicality right there. I mean, there's so much strength behind that.
He was very accurately described.
Yeah, he's got a live arm.
Lucas Torres, chance to maybe close out Ohio State if you can get a couple. That's not one of them. Ohio State stays alive. Dan Hurley, his 6th kill of the night. Ohio State needs to start stringing some together. Thomas Leahy, can he be the one to do it? A couple service errors so far. Crafty back set that comes to no avail, and it will be a set point for BYU. And who is it? The physical blaster himself, Luke Benson. And Cougars are chomping throughout Covelli Center. Hain. And Hales ties up the match. 1-1 overall. We'll take a breather. We'll come back for set number 3. Pivotal set number 3, Dylan. Come. How have you felt the freshman setter has been doing for the Buckeyes?
I think he's been pretty solid. There's one area that I'd like to see Ohio State be a little bit better at, and that's serving the ball. And I think, Henwood Rodriguez can be a part of that for Ohio State. Coming into this one, Kevin Birch thought his team would be really, really strong serving the ball, but I think they faltered maybe a little bit in this match so far, but still plenty of time to correct things.
Yeah, the service errors tilt has gone in favor of Brigham Young. Oh, there you go. Back row attack from Daniel Hurley. He's having a good game. Nothing sneaky about him.
Yeah, big swing out of the back row right there by Hurley. Another guy that can hurt you a lot of different ways. I like to see that from Hurley.
Henwood Rodriguez so far, 44 assists, or 22 assists. Being over generous as there's a great strike from Benson. Benson didn't play in the first set, so he just saved up all that pent-up energy for these last 2.
Well, he's looked pretty darn good in the second and so far in the third.
Them. Good hustle there from Henwood Rodriguez to set up Leahy, who's had a really good match so far, especially on that front row.
Yeah, Leahy has been awesome for Ohio State in the middle. He's been very involved offensively in this game, which I think is just a plus.
Oh, that one perfectly placed. It died right in front of Henwood Rodriguez. State tied at 2. Like to your point of Leahy, part of that very strong middle blocker rotation. You almost don't even realize he's sharing time with Cole Young.
No, it feels like he's been out there this entire match.
Here's Taylor. Great second set by him. Will it carry on to the third? Some miscommunication goes in favor of the Cougars.
Yeah, that's something right there that's going to frustrate Ohio State. You can see it. They feel like that's an opportunity missed.
Kevin Birch standing on the sideline just looks like, come on, guys. Out comes the Ohio State branded squeegee.
I think the guy with the mop right now is like, guys, where do you want me to mop? I don't see any water here.
Look at this. He's on a search now.
Oh, maybe a little bit of blood out there potentially. All the BYU guys are.
Oh, that could be. They're all looking at their hands.
Yeah.
Who's over there? Is it the libero? What do we do now?
Now BYU's like, guys, make Ohio State check themselves.
Maybe it was them. You know, if there was any blood on the floor and it landed on that Big Ten logo, it would have blended in pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's right next to it, it looks like. They've got.
Out the trainer goes.
Yeah, they got a trainer out to wipe this away.
I remember one time I was playing a basketball game. It wasn't NCAA level, nothing like that. But I got a cut in my hand, and I had a wristband. Just slid it down, covered my hand, kept playing.
Can't be good for shooting. I don't know. You don't strike me as a shooter anyway.
You know, I was a good lockdown defensively.
Yeah.
Guard. I like to pass it. I like to think I could shoot. I'll leave it phrased exactly like that. You know, a lot of basketball players on the floor, though, for a lot of them played that way. Cole Young, he was a basketball player, and then word trickled down the Olentangy River to Kevin Birch, who invited him to come to one of the Ohio State camps, and Cole Young had just picked up a volleyball like 2 days before that. We gave it a couple swings, came to the camp, improved so much over the 3 days that Ohio State offered him as a junior in high school who just learned volleyball that year. And then over the next senior season, he took to it so well that he became the number 4 overall recruit in the country, already recruited by Ohio State, already committed, stayed home, and that's worked out well for the Buckeyes.
I feel like that's an unprecedented rise. Like, in any other sport, does that happen? Like, no. Saquon Barkley learns to play football
He's just
his
like,
junior
I don't
year.
even know what this is.
Yeah,
it's
and becomes the number 4 overall recruit. That's insane.
Oblong shape. I don't know what to do with this. There's a good swing by Hurley. I like to imagine that when we were told that story by Kevin Birch that Cole Young literally didn't know what a volleyball was. He's just like, what? Do you shoot it? Like, no, you hit it. You jump up and hit it.
Well, I mean, when you're 6'10" and you're thinking, okay, I'll be a basketball player, but there are multiple paths.
That one snakes out of bounds, sailed just a bit. Buckeyes lead. Leahy will serve. Will serve again. It's a free ball for BYU, and did that go long? No. Just caught the line. Luke Benson, what an impact he keeps having. Here's Torres. Having been more of a quiet night, although by quiet I mean he has 3 kills. Just almost kept alive. Great effort. A for effort for Trzcinski. Cougars up 1. Oh, Benson. That was just teed up for him, and he brought a hammer.
And when you give Benson a little bit of time, he can just, like you said, bring a hammer.
It was just that. Floated up to him. He's like, I got it. Thank you. Speaking of which, Dan Hurley.
Yeah, Ohio State needed that right there from Hurley. You could kind of sense that, again, momentum was tilting in BYU's favor. See if Ohio State can go on a run. I feel like that's one area that we really haven't seen is them serving consistently. Wetzel's kind of had some problems at the service line in this one.
Yeah, they definitely have not. Back set, Wetzel sailed it. I think to your point, or no, he didn't sail it. Wetzel's surprised, BYU's surprised.
Yeah, BYU doesn't get it.
I'm surprised. Dylan saw it coming and was perfectly calm about it. And Sean Olmstead talking with one of our referees. Referees are conferring. We'll see if this thing gets flipped. But to your point, I felt like in the first set, I was going to stay with Ohio State.
All right, they say tipped, I think.
In that first set, when Ohio State did win, they pulled away at the end. It did feel like it was more BYU is going to challenge this, so will it be tipped or not is the question. But it felt like it was more BYU was making errors. They weren't completing, little overhitting it, underhitting it. They just weren't on point. It wasn't necessarily Ohio State was dominating.
Well, that's kind of the way I feel about Ohio State now ever since a few too many errors for OSU. I think this is pretty cut and dry here.
I don't think he touched it.
No.
Unless Luke Benson's got invisible wings. He didn't. Unless he has those invisible wings, or he's one of the actor of his generation, then he didn't touch it.
No, that to me after review looked pretty simple.
We'll see how Luke Benson reacts to this now. I just love the reactions, too, where Benson instantaneously had joy well up within him. And then Wetzel was like, darn it.
Oh, on the other side, you could see the Ohio State bench was giving it the thumbs down right there.
Yeah. Long run there for Henwood. Oh, and was that a miss? It was. By Hurley. He had acres of space, and he put it beyond the fence.
Yeah, and that's just kind of what we've seen from Ohio State. Not sharp when it comes to the serves, when it comes to putting the ball down in situations like that. They've just made a few too many errors.
Yeah, then you got the sharpener out for the steak knife. Kept alive by Thim. Great hustle. And an answer up front, Trzynski. I wonder if Thim could have tracked that down all the way to the opposite tunnel.
It looked like he certainly could have. I mean, the athletic ability on this guy is out of this world. The hustle, the speed, the jumping ability, the strength, it's crazy.
I know this wouldn't be illegal, but I wonder if he could set it to himself. And I think the answer would be yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Point to Brigham Young. I mean, you can hear in the background, strong showing by the Cougars faithful today.
Yeah, they've got a good little crowd behind their bench.
And they get a showing from Cole Young. Not the warmest reception to the visitors there. Thim. he knocked Cole Young from 6'10" to 210. Took off 4 feet of height on that hit. Noah Hain. Chachinski. Much needed answer for Ohio State as they're down here in the pivotal third set.
It's at 9 kills now for Chachinski, leading the way. He and Benson both have 9, tied for the match lead.
Benson's also, it's 2 in a set and a half.
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh, Henwood Rodriguez, the service errors come back to bite Ohio State again. That's number 12.
Well, that's kind of the feeling right now, isn't it? That as soon as Ohio State gets a point and they start to get a little something rolling, there's an unforced error that gives the ball right back to BYU.
Yeah, the serve's going in the net or the hit's going wide. Oh my! The glancing ball at Chachinski. And to look for, get the aloe out. That just burned his elbow. Timeout taken by Kevin Birch and the Buckeyes. Now, Keani Thim getting the kill. We talked a lot about him, but he's also from strong Hawaiian volleyball background. He's the grandson of Mike.
In set number 3, and you've got Keoni Thim back at the service line where he has really excelled.
We both felt that when we talked to Sean Olmstead that he was underselling his team a little bit.
Yeah, maybe so. Like I think that he certainly wasn't sure what he had. Like he wanted to see what it looked like with a couple of these transfers and guys that maybe didn't have as much experience stepping into larger roles. But I think it's safe to say probably at this point he knows what he's got. And it's a pretty good team.
They look pretty sharp. Number 6 in the country in one of the polls, number 3 in another one. There's a good strike, Wetzel. Number 3 on the Buckeyes tonight in kills behind Hurley and Chachinski, who will serve. Those two both have 9.
Well, and this is the thing, right? If you're Ohio State, you've got those 2 big guys on the outside that can really, really bring it. You've got to get them going, and the way you do it is being better at the service line, and again, there's an error.
It's been an unfortunate cycle for Ohio State. They've been fine. I felt defensively they're doing well. Mm-hmm. They're able to keep BYU typically from getting on runs, but they haven't been able to get on any themselves yet. High set, Benson, the changeup. Now the fastball. Cougars up 5. And that might not be as that deficit right now for Ohio State. That might not be as big of one of those Provo peaks, but it's looking tough. Off the deflection there. That's a point for Ohio State. Now, here's the question, Dylan, and we've been talking about it this set. Can they get some serves in?
That's what it's going to take, right? When you're down 5, you have to go on a run. You can't keep going back and forth with BYU or else they're going to win the set. You've got to go on a run at some point, and it's really got to be soon.
This will help. Cole Young. I think that's just the recipe. You just hit it over really well, get soft contact right up the middle, and Cole Young hit that thing to Cincinnati. And there you go for Ohio State. Daniel Hurley, the set from Chachinski. And look at what we got here. The Buckeyes on their first run in a long time. 3rd serve in a row for Leahy. Off the deflection, BYU strikes back. But off that exchange, the Buckeyes have crept back a little bit, only down 3. Can they get another stop as Torres gets ready to serve? Wetzel. Torres, sky high. It's an overpass from Hurley. A tap from Benson. Did he touch the net? Ohio State's done it again. They haven't done it in a while, but they did it twice in the first set. And then a graze of the net by Wetzel, maybe. And BYU building that lead back up.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Ohio State because such a good rally. You feel like whoever wins that point is going to get a lot of momentum from it. And another mistake by Ohio State costs them.
Kaczynski. Cha-ching.
An attack error on Ohio State right there, so BYU gets the point.
I'll take that cash sign back. This BYU's cashing in.
Yeah.
You just feel, it almost feels like they took the roof off this place. It's the air going out of it. And a timeout on the floor. Well, I think it was another net violation, maybe. Just clipping it. But Ohio State, the second they got on a bit of a run, now BYU doing the same. That one, however, long. Wetzel will serve. Benson, another one. Luke Benson. We were just talking off air that it was, where's he been all day? He sat out that first set, and ever since he's come in, it's been King Kong.
12 kills for Benson now. This guy has completely changed the course of this match.
There's a good swing from Wetzel. Ohio State down a large 4. Here's Hurley.
Beautifully placed right there by Wetzel. Now again, Ohio State in need of a run like they went on a few moments ago.
Enwood Rodriguez just tips it over. There's Thim. And that flutters in. When it's your day, it's your day. BYU looking strong. And that one, it just for Ohio State, that ball just casually floated. Here's Talon Tafunga, a native of Long Beach, California. Served earlier today, back in. And an ace, and into the bleachers. Tafunga, cool story. He was on the BYU team that last played here for that national championship opportunity back in 2021. And he was, remember, like many of the players on BYU of the LDS church, and wasn't going to go on his mission. You don't have to go on a mission, but he wasn't going to, and then changed his mind, and it was all set up for him to go. But he missed the window, missed a year. He went on his mission to Eugene, Oregon, and eventually came back, missed 3 years, but he still has sophomore eligibility, and is coming in making an impact. So getting him back after the 3 years off for his mission, working him into the rotation, and he got an ace.
Well, that's another one of these situations where it's a guy for BYU that's been around the program forever, right? But he doesn't have a tremendous amount of playing experience. So you're seeing him rotate in here, and just a monster serve right there, and see him get another look coming out of this timeout. And there's just so much going right for BYU right now. They're showcasing their depth. They're showcasing a couple of new guys into this rotation that have played key factors, and it's a fun team to watch right now. I mean, they weren't on their game in that first set, but then Luke Benson comes in to start the second set, and the script has just completely flipped here for the Cougars. I mean, I really like what Keone Thim has done throughout this match. He's another guy that's gotten better and better as it's gone on, but he's just one of a number of guys that have really stepped up their game and been key contributors. You think about Tion Taylor and what he did in that second set, too.
There's Tafuga. Well, who gives takes away. By the way, while we have a change here, I asked Sean Olmstead what the most exciting mission location he heard. And the one he's nominated was Gavin Chambers, the freshman from Corona, California. He went to New Zealand, which is pretty rustic.
Yeah, they had a few good ones. Argentina.
All over.
New Zealand, Brazil.
Eugene, Oregon. Block up front. Tuchinski. All right now. If you're Ohio State, this is your man, Owen Pickering, the sophomore Canadian. Into the net it goes. They're just snake bit right now. If getting bit by a snake means you hit it into the net.
Yeah, what do we have, 14 service errors now on Ohio State? Something like that?
I'm losing fingers to count it up. Still alive, not anymore. There's Shane Wetzel. Ohio State's been doing this. They'll have a big swing that just fills Buckeye fans with hope, and then they get back to the service line. And calm, cool, collected BYU they haven't had to do much defensively. They didn't do anything that time either, but an ace.
That is a big one for Ohio State. See if they can fabricate a little bit of confidence here from the service line.
Froze up the Cougars. Oh, a hammer down the middle. Tion Taylor. Here's them. Can that electric serve seal a victory here in the third set? Sub coming in, Tyler Tharp makes an appearance in place of Shane Wetzel. He's the backup for Wetzel this year. They like him, the redshirt freshman from Chicago. Here's Tharp. Oh, Leahy tried to dunk it over, just misplaced it. Hammered. Keone Thim.
That's special coming out of the back row right there. Keone Thim. Just again the athleticism. Look how high he gets. Boom.
Cougars jaws out, claws out, chomping in the background. Thim serves. Set point. Carried long. Point for BYU. Ohio State might challenge this, though. I think this question, did he go over the net?
Yes, that is what they think.
That's what they hope, too. So no one's left their benches yet. Did the BYU player go over the net, and they're going to look at it? Or no, they won't. So set 3.
Just been too many. And then you also have to credit Luke Benson for the role that he's played for BYU. Ever since he entered this match in the second set, things have completely flipped in BYU's favor. He's just been a great presence at that net. And the guy that's going to make the serve right now, Keone Thim, has been great out of the back row, too.
Yeah, great mustache as well.
Yes, he does.
Benson keeps it alive. Thim. Right to Wetzel. Tuchinski gets the kill off the deflection. He's a guy that they would like to see get going again. Dylan, he was really strong in the first set, and it's kind of petered out a little bit since then.
Tuchinski was awesome in the opening set. I'm trying to think back. How many kills did he have in the opening set? 5 or 6? And he's
6.
Yeah, he's got 10 right now, so he's definitely slowed down in the following sets. It's another guy the Buckeyes really would like to get going.
Well, there's another one.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, I don't want to say to be expected, but it's getting to that point. Ohio State is struggling very, very badly right now serving the ball.
I mean, no one does this anymore, but you can almost say that third set, you can almost set your clock to it. And there's a service error from Tion Taylor. That's something Ohio State would like to see BYU gift him a bit more.
Yeah, it's been a while. Remember, early on in the match, that ratio, service errors to aces, was the exact same. It was 8-3, and now BYU with 6 aces compared to 11 service errors. Ohio State 4 aces and 15 service errors.
16.
Yep.
Tuchinski's had 5 of them now. And that's interesting. Between the service errors and the just attacking errors, it's 9 of them for Tuchinski. So he's counted for 11 points, given back 9. All right, okay, all right. Back and forth we go.
Big smile on Tuchinski's face as that went out of bounds, by the way.
All right, here's Thomas Leahy. Little girl on the bleachers on the Jumbotron here, a little tuckered out late night. Benson, he crushed it too much. Jackson Fife says that was touched by Ohio State, but none of the referees agree with him, at least not yet.
I don't think so.
Olmsted challenged, no, Sean Olmsted will not. 4-2, Ohio State. And that's off of Hurley. So now it's a 1-point margin. This is a set Ohio State must win. They want to be able to extend this match to a 5th set. Here's the very crafty Luke Benson. Doesn't have as thunderous a serve. That's them. Kept alive by Tuchinski, almost out of self-preservation. Speaking of which, Fife bent backwards. Benson gets a hit on it. Wetzel stuffed. Wetzel. Torres blocked. And there's a good volley back and forth between these two top 11 teams.
Yep, that has the feel of a big point for Ohio State, doesn't it? We saw a couple rallies like that going back and forth in the second set. that didn't fall in Ohio State's favor. Now they get one. They're trying to create a little bit of momentum. And now they've got their big dog back at the service line in Wetzel.
Must have been off the deflection. Wetzel couldn't catch up with that one. Trying to keep the Buckeyes in. And Wetzel, he has become the go-to server for Ohio State. We haven't seen much of Kyle Tooney today. And here's Nico Hales. There's a crushing swing by Cole Young. I'll tell you, when Cole Young gets one, it goes. It just jumps.
Yes, it does. I mean, he's a big, strong guy, right? 6'10". It's hard not to be, but you're right. There's a little bit extra on it whenever it's off the hand of Cole Young.
There's something that went flying. There were two objects. I think it was, is there some tape? I think it was the tape on Teon Taylor's hand.
Yeah,
when the hit from Young was so violent that it knocked the tape off his hand and went over and hit one of our flagmen in the corner. And you can see him going to tape back up now. Well, at least from our vantage point, it was almost disorienting because you saw the ball go one way, but then another white object went flying across the court in the opposite direction. And it was the tape for Teon Taylor.
It's like in baseball when there's a broken bat ground ball and one guy fields the bat and another guy fields the ball. Got to have a timer on this tape job right here. See how quick he can get it done.
Look at this replay.
Oh, yeah.
Goes flying out. What?
Yeah, he's got like a little brace on that finger, I think. Yeah, you can see it. He's got that pinky really wrapped up.
It jumped off his finger.
Oh, my goodness. Did it ever? I could have taken an eye out.
I was thinking of Christmas Story when you were telling you that example. Oh, a slip from Chichinski, but Young bailed him out. Good swing by Chichinski. Taylor, tape back on, keeps it alive. But not for long. Point for BYU. It seems like so far today, BYU very happy to just trade points with Ohio State, assuming that eventually they're going to get a few runs or a few errors go their favor. Block from Taylor. Free ball hammered.
Yeah, Ohio State just doesn't have great flow right now. Like, they just look a little bit off, don't they?
They do, and you saw miscommunication there. Grant Strong and Shane Wetzel both going for the same ball. And then the set would just teed up for Torres. Tied at 6. Number 6, blocked by 21. Tim, number 20, also there. And BYU has their first lead of the fourth set. The wind up, it's a free ball, and it's hammered back by Chichinski, but it went out of bounds. This has also been, Dylan, the situation where BYU, back to set number 2, where they went on a run with this man serving, Noah Hain. A long overpass. Hain gets under it. Driven back by Cole Young. This time it counts. Or no, it doesn't. Yes, it does.
All right, now we see Cole Young. He wants to get some momentum going right now. He's the guy that just came up with the big block.
Change up by Thim. A wind up by Thim. It's off Ohio State. And the lead grows for the Cougars, 9-7. And an ace for them with a shrug. Timeout, Buckeyes.
This Keone Thim guy has been
happy.
Yeah.
BYU is on their sideline. Ohio State, not as much joy going on.
Yeah, just like Ohio State trying to figure it out right now. And they've got those new pieces in there. We've talked about that. We get that. Some guys playing in their first collegiate matches, but they just don't have the same mojo. They're not as dynamic as BYU. I think that's the word that I want to use for Keone Thim, dynamic. And he's added that level of just power from that back row for BYU.
I think what an addition he's going to be. And this is already a stout or team that brought back a lot of guys too. That's right into the net. But we haven't seen Mitch Romanis since the first set. Luke Benson took his spot, hasn't relinquished it. But you think you had those two are all conference, and they're already coming back, and then you add them to the mix.
Yeah, he looks like an all-conference caliber player himself.
If not all-American. And Taylor has been strong too. That was, and we mentioned this earlier, that was their weak spot.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Taylor's been awesome in this game, right? Like, he's been great when it comes to defense, but they've also had him chip in offensively too, which maybe wasn't his prowess coming into this one.
There's a spike from Leahy. Now the question that we've been asking since the third set, can Ohio State translate that, an emphatic defensive blast, barrage, can they translate that into some offense?
Well, Chichinski's the guy that's really struggled at the service line for Ohio State. And we talked about the fastball that he has, but it comes down to controlling it. And again, he cannot control it. You can see the frustration mounting for him.
And what you don't want to be is thinking about it too much. Like you want to just be coming naturally. You don't want to be thinking about locating the ball. It's just hitting it right where it needs to go.
He just hasn't gotten into that rhythm.
No. Torres. Yeah, that one didn't have a chance.
Yeah, that was a miss hit.
He's had a lot of great hits tonight. That one undersailed a little bit. Here's Leahy again. Leahy, like three of his teammates, 4 service errors. This time it's over. And a good swing down the middle. Cole Young again. Can't see me. We see him.
Yes, we do. He's a hard guy to miss.
I don't want to correct him, but we all see him.
Next to impossible to miss out there.
A good ball by Leahy. Torres just has to bump it over. And Young in the middle.
Yeah, smart little play right there by Young. Danny Henwood Rodriguez okay?
He's being checked on by Young.
Yeah.
I didn't know
he was bent over and everybody came and rushed to him for a second. Looks like he's okay.
Took the ball to the nose or something. Got stunned.
Ooh.
Oh, there's an answer from Nico Hales.
Yeah, good swing right there by Hales.
Hales a freshman too. We were looking at the newcomer of them, but Hales. There's a great weapon in the middle. That rotation of Hales and Taylor. And Benson has an error. We're tied at 13.
All those same issues that have plagued Ohio State now creeping in a little bit for BYU. Ohio State, they do have to take advantage at some point, right? Like, this is must win right here for Ohio State, and you've got the guy serving the ball that you want.
One of the best servers on the team, Wetzel. Ooh, pushed it long.
18 service errors for Ohio State now.
And that's the thing that, it's not ironic, but what's interesting of where these errors are coming from, it's the guys that they're going to be counting on. Wetzel, Chachinski, Leahy. He had a good last service, but he's had his issues. And now here's Nico Hales with the lead and the ball in his hand. New setter. And a blast from Tyler Tharp from Cole Kutch.
Well, a couple of changes here. You see Kutch come on out and then Tharp in there as well, and he's a guy that they're excited about. Opposite hitter from Chicago. Kevin Birch talked about his intelligence out there on the floor, and a guy that, similar to Cole Young, just has had an upward trajectory ever since getting to Ohio State.
And a block that goes out of bounds, point for Brigham Young. I think what's interesting, when we talked to Kevin Birch about the setter position, he said Edwin Rodriguez is going to get the first crack at it. Kutch does it a little bit differently. He's more precision. The guy who can keep the lead, but they're looking at him to give them back the lead. And Chachinski sailed it. So the lead grows for Brigham Young. And it always seems like whenever BYU gets on a run, Noah Haynes serving.
It does seem like that, doesn't it? He's the guy. He's just a steady player. Just gets it on over, keeps him in it.
Overpass by BYU. Can Ohio State capitalize? You better believe it. Cole Young, it has been his set, and now he serves. Team down one, midpoint. That was a great ball of fire from Thim. And he'll serve now. Holy mackerel. Holy cow.
Yeah, that is a serve that'll get the bench going. And that it did. That was a rocket.
I think that jumped warp speed. I mean, poor Daniel Hurley minding his own business over there.
Yeah, that's
almost had a hole to be the guy. And no, it's been Noah Hayne, and Noah Hayne has looked outstanding out there. And Sean Olmstead said, I know Herget, he played all the time last year, but Haynes played more. He's been playing volleyball since almost before he was born.
Yeah, it is in the blood.
And there's another rocket from the Hawaiian Thim. It is all Brigham Young right now. Back-to-back aces for Keani Thim. Could he get the turkey?
Almost.
A dunk from the middle. Tion Taylor. Thim might have had a slow start. In that second set, it was Tion Taylor who stood tall. And now Thim and BYU, first one to 20. Chance to win it. And a few more points. Chachinski and a third ace.
Why not another from Keone Thim right here?
We might. He's not slowing down, is he?
No, not at all.
Could it be 4? Tuchinski blocked by Taylor, but it's out of bounds. It's getting dire for Ohio State. They're down 5 late. And they turn to the freshman, Daniel Henwood Rodriguez, confident in his serving. He was really good for the Puerto Rican U19 team. It's a free ball for Ohio State off the overpass. And Wetzel threads the needle. Keeps Ohio State alive, down 4.
Pinpoint placement. Shane Wetzel right there comes up huge for Ohio State. They needed to stop that swing.
He's been playing great for the Buckeyes for a long time. His head coach thought, oh, wait, he's only a junior? Feels like he's been here for 6 years. Into the net goes Henwood Rodriguez. And here's Tafuga. One of the most longest tenured sort of BYU Cougars. Comes on late. And a kill up front by Nico Hales, one of the newer Cougars.
Well, the Buckeyes are just at the point that they can't do anything right now. BYU has everything going in their favor.
They got their portion of the crowd behind them.
Look at the smile on Tafunga's face, too.
Sky high. Hammer down. Benson. Match point, Brigham Young.
Yeah, the amount of fun these guys are having over on the bench is awesome to see right now for BYU.
First match of the year. They travel to Ohio. Chance to close it out. Chance delayed.
You knew Tafunga was going to give everything he had right there to end it on an ace.
Stanislaw Tuchinski. Will he be the one to serve? No, they're going to go to the more stable server who's described as low stress, calm, cool. He's proven it's Kyle Tooney, and the senior from Downers Grove, Illinois, needs 6 points in a row. And he doesn't get any. BYU wins the opener. They lost the first set. They won 3 in a row. They lost the first set to Ohio State 25-19. Second set BYU 25-20, 25-18 the third, 25-18 in the fourth. Cougars balanced, sharp, precise.
BYU looked awesome in this one. You know, they come out in the first set and you're thinking